6 o'clock.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Will the Washington County County Services Committee please come to order? Good evening to all. I have asked Chandra Washington if she would lead us in the prayer and the pledge. So we ask that you stand. Justice Washington.
Let's bow our heads for prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for our first meeting of 2026. Lord, we just thank you for all of the wonderful things that we accomplished last year. We thank you for all of the growth of the county. Lord, we just thank you for the collaboration. And tonight, we just come lifting up our leaders. We lift up Judge Deacons. We lift up every elected official, every supervisor, and every lead. And Lord, we just thank you for giving them wisdom and integrity and humility to lead the county and to lead the people of Washington County, as well as the employees. Lord, we lift up every employee, every staff person, and we thank you for unprecedented collaboration. We thank you for integrity for them as well. And God, we just thank you that we all work together this year, and we will see a year of unprecedented growth for Washington County, and that it is all working together for good for us, and it all is for your glory. And we pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Justice Washington. With that said, do I have a motion to adopt tonight's agenda? Do we have any amendments to the agenda? We do. You all received the handout. It was a one that,
Item 10.
item 10. Where did, I think you've got mine. Oh, there we go. Can I make an amendment that we add the handout to substituting item 10?
I move that we substitute item 10 with, sorry, I need to correct my mistake. Thank you, Chair. I move that we substitute item 10 with the corrected handout for that.
So I have a motion by Justice Lopez and a second by Justice Robert Dennis. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That amendment has been accepted. Now, do I have a motion to accept the agenda as amended? I have a motion by Justice Ricker, second by Justice Dean. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? That motion carries. Next on our agenda is the chairman's report. I've handed out to all of our justices just a mission, vision, and values that I would like our committee to kind of follow for 2026. I've done this in the past as chairman of the Personnel Committee, and this past 2025, I wasn't expected to be chairman of county services, and so I was a bit unprepared, and I didn't set out my goals and agendas of what we wanted and expected from the committee. So now that I've had time to do that, I just want to share with you and the public, it says, our mission as the County Services Committee, we will communicate, collaborate, and speak well of each other, striving to ensure that our actions and efforts contribute to the well-being and satisfaction of our community, fostering a positive environment for all who live and work within our county. Our vision as the County Services Committee will be, our vision is to establish Washington County as the model of excellence in Arkansas, recognized for our outstanding service and leadership. Through continuous improvement and innovation, we aim to set a standard that other counties aspire to achieve. our values and principles. We are stewards of what has been given to us, and I always want to hear, "Well done, thy good and faithful steward." So we take responsibility for all resources and responsibilities entrusted to us. Stewardship guides our decisions and actions, ensuring that we manage county assets ethically and effectively for the benefit of current and future generations. We will strive to be as transparent as we have always been, and even surpassing that. Washington County has always been recognized as leading all other counties in transparency. We are committed to open communication and act with integrity in all our interactions. Transparency allows citizens and employees to trust in our process and our decisions. Citizen-centric approach. Our focus remains firmly on the needs and interests of citizens of Washington County. By prioritizing citizens' engagement and satisfaction, we ensure that our county services are responsive and relevant to the community we serve. And I'd like to add one more thing. We have many services that we offer the county. We have many departments, thank you, in ours. If there's one of particular interest to any member here, whether it's the animal shelter, roads, buildings and grounds that you want to hear more about, let me know and we'll engage and collaborate in getting them to speak. Also, for the public, if there's any presentations that you all want, other, even nonprofits. We had Into the Light about children and human trafficking, and I brought that forward. I felt that this committee needed to hear how they are working with our Sheriff's Department and with Child Protective Services and our prosecutor's office to help end child human trafficking here in Washington County. So if there's anything of particular interest that you want and are passionate about, let me know, and that way we can get that on the agenda for all our citizens to hear. With that, we're moving on to our next item on the agenda, and that is Director Tinsley with the Juvenile Detention Report. Good evening. How are you? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Madam Chair, and good evening to the County Service Committee members for 2026. I'd like to share our Juvenile Detention Center monthly report for December 2025. This report covers 30 days of data. In December, we had 25 intakes, and the average length of stay was about 15.71 days. Our average daily population came out to just over 9.33 residents. The most common charge for intakes was criminal mischief, misdemeanor at 6 cases. Of the 25 intakes from Washington and Madison counties, 16 intakes were from Division 8 and 9 intakes were from Division 3. We also had 11 transports during the month of December. 10 were handled by the Washington County JDC and 1 was performed by the Washington County Sheriff's Office. That concludes our December report. Are there any questions that I can answer at this time?
Do any members have questions? I have Justice Koger.
Oh, thank you. Director Tinsley, we talked this morning on the phone, and I just want to, so as I understand it, for the next meeting, you're going to try to bring for us data from 2024 and 2025 together?
Yes, ma'am. So
if you can.
Yes, ma'am. So collectively, I reached out to the prosecutor's office, the juvenile prosecutor, and to our social work department. So we're going to collaborate and try to get the best data we can to present it. As I stated on the phone today, once we merged our new system, the new Right Track system, from the old one, which was the 2005 version, a lot of the data got scrambled. And so I have to manually do everything every month, which is fine. But I just want to make sure that we can present the most accurate information and be as transparent as possible.
Okay, I appreciate that very much if you could do that. And the reason, I just want to say, the reason I brought that up, the thing that caught my attention was the number of days of detention in 2024 compared to 2025. It went from 271 to 581.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
that's what jumped out at me and why I thought it would be good to have that information. And I thank
Absolutely.
you for doing that.
Yes, ma'am.
Excellent question. Are there any other questions for Director Tinsley? Seeing none, thank you, sir, and have a good evening.
Thank you, Madam Chair. You too.
Next on the agenda, we have the Sheriff's Office, Sheriff Cantrell. Happy New Year. Good to see you, sir.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. It's good to be here. Hopefully you've got your report in your packet labeled 5.1. Our calls for service for our enforcement section are up a little bit, and we've seen about a 10% growth year over year, 2025 over 2024 in our patrol calls for service. But we've also seen an uptick in our population of Washington County, so not alarmed about that. Detention intakes are actually down just a little bit from the prior year. We sent fewer people to prison during this report date, but the last part of the month between Christmas and New Year's, we actually took 25 more down to prison, so it helped our ADC numbers a little bit. So they must have got rid of some folks for the holidays. To make some room, our average daily high count is down considerably, and we can attribute that primarily to our pretrial average daily population is considerably down. So the judges are working hard to see our detainees that are in the detention center, and so that's it's been a big help to us. I'll be happy to answer any questions anybody might have. I know you've got several things on the agenda, so I'll try to be brief.
Justice Coger.
Thank you, Chair, Madam Chair. And thank you, Sheriff Cantrell. I just have my regular questions that I always like to know. What about COVID in the jail?
COVID, we have one case of one COVID positive female, and but 8 exposures.
80?
So 8 exposures who that one person exposed 8 different people.
Oh, okay.
While they were in. So we've got those 8 isolated to make sure they don't contract the virus.
So 8 in quarantine?
Correct.
Okay. What about the number of females in the jail today?
Number of females today is 126 females today.
Okay, and the number of federal prisoners, or U.S. Marshal or ICE or?
We have 82 total.
82?
82 total. Of those, 4 of them are immigration. 4 of the 82 are immigration.
Okay, and what about the 309s? How many do we have that now of 309s?
39.
39. We're down a
8.
couple.
Yeah, 18 males and 21 females.
Okay. 18 and 21. And how many people were sleeping on the floor last night?
142.
142?
Yep. 135 males and 7 females.
And if you have this with you, what about the number of pretrial as of today that we have in the jail?
396.
Okay.
Yep. So that number is actually down a little bit. So
Yes, it
yep,
is.
we're thankful for that.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I have Justice Lemming.
Again, they're not on the floor, they're on a mattress.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes.
Thank you.
Do I have any other questions? Thank you, sir. Have a
Thank
good
you, Madam
evening.
Chair.
Item number 7 on the agenda is Packing Specialties presentation by Mr. Mark Goodman. And I have our county judge will do some introductions.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. I stand up here with honor tonight with guests here. As you guys know, we talk a lot about our growth in this county, the economic development we're constantly trying to do in this county. What I'd like to say is we have a unique opportunity tonight to not talk about a new business or new industry entering our county, but talking about an industry and a business that's been part of our county for a long, long time, and that's packaging specialties. They're inextricably part of the Fayetteville history and part of Washington County history. I had the opportunity to go to their ribbon cutting for their expansion a couple weeks ago, and I said there's many of us who appreciate and respect the work that they do for their company, but also many of us remember playing on the Little League team that was Packaging Specialties sponsored, and so they've been a big integral part of our community. The other thing I'd like to highlight with you tonight, Mr. Goodman works for the Fayetteville Chamber of Commerce. And what I want each of one of you, ladies and gentlemen, to know is that the Fayetteville Chamber of Commerce has really done an excellent job about reaching out to the county. I'll have more kudos for them later in our meeting tonight about some of the assistance that they've given us. But what I'd like to say is they've really offered the olive branch to the county. They're good partners here. They want to work together on economic development. So I really appreciate not only the colleague that Mark Goodman is, but also the friendship and the support that he's developed for the county. This is wonderful for Washington County when local government works together, and I think the Chamber has done a very good job. Without further ado, I'm going to bring up Mr. Goodman, and he's going to introduce some of the wonderful people here from Packaging Specialties tonight, just to honor them and give them an opportunity to grow. Mr. Goodman?
Thank you, Judge. Thank you all. It's a privilege to
evening.
be here. Again, Mark Goodman. I'm the Economic Development Director with the Chamber, and we have been working with Packaging Specialties. Actually, I'd like to introduce Nick Guglielmi and Brent Culp, who will also join in a brief presentation for you this evening. We're here tonight as of November 17th. Packaging Specialties announced a major expansion. It's 100 jobs, and we'll talk about that, and a major investment. And with that, of course, comes the opportunity with some state incentives. And we're here this evening to talk about the tax back incentive, seeking a resolution so we can move forward with that with AEDC. And we'd like to do a brief presentation and talk about a little bit about the company and the expansion, and importantly also is the economic impact that this is going to have on the entire county. And you know, we always run, when we run impact studies, we always look at the labor shed, what they call labor shed, the labor market area of where the employees come from. And it's uniquely strong across all of Washington County with this company in particular. It's kind of neat to see that. Anyway, we'll show that. If I would like to show, do I lift my laptop here to, or do I just? Oh, okay. All right. Well, actually, to start out, I'd like to actually ask Nick to come up and talk a little bit about the company, first of all, and how we got here, and I'll follow up with some economic impact figures.
Thank you, everybody, for having us. Just want to talk a little bit about Packaging Specialties in case nobody's familiar with us. This is our 52nd year in Washington County. We started out in Washington County. We've expanded outside into Gainesville, Georgia. We also have a plant in Burley, Idaho. Now, the facilities we have here in Washington County is going to be our printing facility, and we also have a machinery facility. We're very lucky in the last several years. Our machinery is considered the #1 machinery in the company for food manufacturing. And it is 100% U.S. made out of other companies that we use right here in Washington County. Are made to, they supply us frames, they supply us the computers that go into it and everything. We're very proud. American flag is engraved into our machines because it is all U.S. made. The company itself, and let's speak primarily for Washington County, half our employees are in Fayetteville, Washington County. We have a total of about 480 employees across the U.S. 240 of those employees are here in either our printing facilities or PacMac, which is the name of our machinery. Our expansion is we are kind of maxed out on what we can do. Now, as far as what we do, and we talked to Mr. Ennis earlier, we do food packaging. So if you pick up a package of chicken in a tray, you got about a 92% chance that it was produced here in Fayetteville or in one of the other Packaging Specialties facilities. That's how we started in 1974 and been part of the community ever since. When our decision came to where do we expand, we chose to stay right here where our corporate office is, where all our ties are. And I think Mark will go over and give you an idea of how many people we employ just out of the Washington County area. So what we do, packaging specialties, what we do is we actually print film. So when you look at Harps or Tyson or any of those products, we put the colors down on that film. We don't make the film. We don't package the film. We sell the film to the processors. In many processors across the country, we're 100% supplier to the Purdue's, some of the other ones, the Foster's out of California, and a large supplier to Tyson on not only the tray pack, but also the bagging equipment that you might put frozen vegetables, frozen chicken in, which our machines then use our film and pack the product that way. So we're excited about the expansion. Over the next 5 years, we expect to spend about $24 million additional on just the facility and our machinery. Our machinery is very expensive. Printing equipment, 10-color printing equipment, very expensive. We've already got one on order and ready to go. So we're in the midst right now of getting the building going and everything else, because I need a place to put it once it gets here in probably July. I don't know if there's any other questions that you have. I think Mark's going to talk about some of the other stuff, but this is our home. This is where we started. I've been with the company 23 years. I went to retire a couple years ago, and they asked me to take over the company. I led the sales, and we've had unbelievable growth over the last 20 years. We've gone from a $47 million to 2025, we just hit $270 million in sales. So we're going very strong.
That's great.
But thank you so much for the time. If there's any questions, I'd be glad to answer. Good? Thanks so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Nick. If we could we move forward to some of the economic impact figures here? By the way, and this is, of course, available to you, and in particular, we're going to reference some economic impact numbers here. I'm happy to share the report, we run an economic impact statement for every project we work on. And so I want to make sure that that's available to you if you would like to see that. Okay, move forward one more. You got some information about the company. The wages are very high in this company, and that impacts the economic impact too. And we'll see that in the numbers. Go ahead, you can move forward to the next slide, please. The next slide, please, again, sorry. Okay, so when we run impact studies, and when you hear people talk about economic impact and employment multipliers, that is how many additional jobs are created in the community of the county from those direct jobs. And you'll hear people talk about like 3 to 1, 10 to 1, that sort of thing. That's likely not realistic. The employment multiplier with this project is 1.56. What that means is that for every one job with the company, half of an additional job is actually created or retained in the community as a result of that, or the county. And that's actually a good number. So when I see something over 1.5, that's great. And so that's existing. So we can apply that same multiplier with the new jobs. And with this increase in 100 jobs, that basically means 56 additional jobs are created within Washington County alone. And in fact, Nick probably would have some stories just from anecdotally of suppliers that they work with. That's all part of those multiplied jobs. Suppliers to the company, everyone who sells them anything, we can capture that with the modeling. And then the other thing I wanted to show you here is, and this is really I think this is interesting anyway, these are the zip codes where employees currently reside who work at packaging specialties. And those in blue there, these are the zip codes within Washington County, which makes up 77% of all the employment at the company. And in Arkansas, like other states like Arkansas, where we don't have a local income tax, economic impact is realized where people live and bring their paycheck home to and spend their money, not necessarily where they work, because we don't have an income tax, local income tax. And so when we measure this, we try to divvy up the economic impact where people actually live. So with this project, if you could advance the slide one. That's our say, one more. There's no more? Oh, I had 50 more slides. No, I'm kidding. Well, there is a slide that shows, there we go. Based on these same percentages of those that currently work at Packaging Specialties, that same number of these 100 new jobs, where would these folks come from based on the same ratios? It breaks down this way. And there's some observations. People think, well, it's a Fayetteville company. And yes, it does employ a lot of people from Fayetteville, but pretty much just as many from Elkins. It's kind of interesting. And you can kind of see the breakdown, which is what we would anticipate with this expansion. It just demonstrates that the economic impact is regional. Yeah. It's a great story to tell. And in particular, South Washington County is impacted a lot currently from Packaging Specialties, and we would expect it would continue to be. So just wanted to show that, and we want to include impact studies anytime, again, we work with a project. Do you have any questions about this or the tax back program, which is a sales tax rebate? It's like the Ozarks Electric, I believe, was a project you recently worked on. Please.
Justice Lemming?
This project, how many dollars are you gonna spend?
We expect to spend over the next 3 to 5 years, $24 million.
24 million. How long of a tax abatement on this are we looking at? On the project? Year? Huh?
You say the tax back?
To tax break on it?
Okay, 3 to 4.
3 to 4 years. Thank you.
The other thing I wanted to say, and I wanted to make sure with our controller that this was okay, another thing that we're very big on the county, right? We're very big on local. So our owner was Hayes Biggs. And if any of you ever had to use the Children's Hospital, there is a Hayes Biggs wing that we've donated over $2 million several years ago to get that wing built. And we've also, in the last week, donated another $1 million to the Children's Hospital, the Cancer Hospital, for it's something our owner really believes in. Our owner is Karen Biggs, his widow, and she's the primary owner. We are a woman-owned minority business, and she's very big on this county. She lives out right by the Springdale golf course, but very big on a lot of donations locally, and that I just want to make sure I could announce that we did donate another $1 million last week to the Children's Hospital. So
And
thank
Karen
you.
Biggs' heart is as big as the donations that have been made. I have Justice Massingale.
Yes. Yeah, I really appreciate everything you guys are doing. But could you kind of explain this tax? This is different than what Ozarks was asking for, right?
I think it's the same package. It's a much smaller project, I believe, than Ozarks. I'm not as familiar with Ozarks, but that would be a much larger project than this. But it's a sales and use tax refund up to so much there of future, that's refunded back to the company over the period of the purchase of the equipment and materials for building.
So that the refund is from the taxes that would go to the county or the state, or what?
I think it's a refund of the taxes that would have otherwise gone to the county, the city, and the state over that period of time.
Okay, and what percentage of the tax is that, or is it?
I think it varies because not everything here is like new, and so some of it it's not, they're not all new purchases. So I think it's a hard one to answer.
Okay.
Because it kind of depends on what they end up purchasing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I voted against the Ozark. I want the taxes to be low for all the businesses in Washington County. So I'm not in favor of giving out, special tax breaks to different businesses when I feel like all the businesses in Washington County deserve a tax break. When we give a tax break to one company, then we've got to take it away, or we got to raise taxes if we don't have enough money to meet our commitments. So Really appreciate what you're doing. I love your business. I want you to stay here. I want you to expand, but, you know, I want to treat all businesses in Washington County fairly. So, thank you.
Do I have any other questions? Oh. One moment, please. I have Justice Coger.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I just want to understand a little bit more. You answered a lot of the questions I had with Justice Massengill just now, but with the Ozark Electric, they got a tax abatement, not a tax refund, correct? That's what I understood. And it was for 30 years.
That could be, I'm not familiar with that
But
project.
you're not asking for that. You're asking for a tax refund.
Correct, that
So
is
people-
specifically the tax back program.
Okay, so help me understand how that works. People pay tax, and and it gets sent to the state, and then somehow the state refunds that back to you?
To the company, what would have been generated at the community or county level, and then the state, up to so much, then is refunded back to the company to help them recover some of their costs for that equipment purchase or the building materials.
Do you have any estimate of how much money we're talking about? I mean, total?
Because not every purchase is new, it's gonna vary, and, you know, we can get, I don't know if that's actually been in the application or not at this point, it hasn't even been calculated with AEDC yet.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you.
I have Justice Dennis.
And I know that I've been on court quite a few years, maybe perhaps more, but this is not an uncommon thing that we've done because it's such a good investment for our community. And so to give up, if it's, you know, a full 10%, which I doubt that it is, but if you're giving up the sales tax just to get the building, the jobs and everything, it's a plus for us, not a negative. So it's a way of not taxing them, but investing in jobs, and investing in the creation of the products, and it's a win-win that way. That's the way I see it. And it's been done more times in the past than it has in recent history. So but it's a common thing. And I think you're also asking Fayetteville to cooperate on this as well.
Correct.
Even tonight, I believe, right? City Council?
In fact, I believe the company just came
Oh, okay.
from Fayetteville.
Well, you might share with us what the city of Fayetteville did.
Hi,
But
good
I'm all for it. I see the good, not the bad on this, and so I'll be supporting it, and so thank you.
I
Thank
just
you.
wanted to say that
Can you pull the microphone closer to you? There you go.
Hi,
Thank you.
I am Chung Tan. I'm an economic developer with the city of Fayetteville. We just at 5:30 passed on consent the tax back resolution from the city of Fayetteville. It needs both passage, two resolutions, one from the city of Fayetteville and one from the Washington County Court for this tax back resolution to be legally binding. So what it does is that we use this tool, this is the tax back, it's an economic development tool for us to compete with other places. For example, in this case, it is a competition because Packaging Specialties have 3 locations. They could bring their $24 million investment to any one of the 3. So all the 3 communities are working to say, bring your expansion to our community. And then when we say we are competing, how are we doing it? Is one of the tools is tax back. So the one that you mentioned earlier could be a pilot. That one is payment in lieu of taxation. Yes, that one is a whole different, that one is another economic development tool that is in our toolbox, and we are economic developers. So our job is to bring the projects to our community. And why do we want to do that? Is because this is 100 jobs. This pays on an average of $50,000 a year. Just imagine 100 residents in Washington County is going to have a job, and they are going to have the money to spend on housing, on transportation, on childcare, on food, on whatever it may be, if the project comes here. If the project goes to Georgia, we do not have the 100 new jobs. So that is like, but for. So this is a but for question for us economic developments, but for the incentives, they have made the decision to choose Fayetteville and to choose Washington County. And then in terms of the sales tax rebate, so right now for Washington County, Fayetteville, we collect 9.75% in sales tax. Out of it, 2% goes to the city of Fayetteville, 1.25% go to the Washington County, and 6.5% go to the state of Arkansas. They do not get the rebate of 9.75% all back because the state rate is only, they cannot give back, the state of Arkansas will not give back the 6.5% because of the state employee pension fund. Part of it is funded by the sales tax rate. But for us, it will be 2% for the city of Fayetteville and 1.25% for Washington County. And this only applies, and the reason why we do the tax back is to encourage them to make purchases from our vendors in Washington County, in Fayetteville, because the sales tax is 9.75% is if you buy in Home Depot in Fayetteville, or Lowe's, or City Lumber. So we are encouraging them to spend the money locally in order to get the sales tax. A lot of their equipment is multi-million dollars ordered from out of state because state of Arkansas doesn't produce them. And then state of Arkansas already have machinery tax exemption with a new law that just passed recently. So for that $1 million, it's kind of like you're not running your numbers at $24 million multiplied by 1.25%, and this is how much I am losing. That is not the case. More importantly, you are looking at the job creation, at the economic impact on city of Fayetteville and Washington County.
I have County Attorney Brian Lester.
Yeah, I might can clear up some answers or some questions that some of you had, and I appreciate Ms. Chung, right? Yes, ma'am, who we've met before. They're looking at investing $24 million in a project. This tax back is only on the machinery, the equipment to build their infrastructure, to build what they're doing. It has nothing to do with what they sell. And she's right, in Washington County, our sales and use tax is 1.25%. So even if, hypothetically, if they spend all $24 million in Washington County, the county would only be losing $300,000. But we know that all that money for that will not come directly, or all those products, what they buy won't come directly here. And so there are a lot of things that they won't be, of that 24 million that won't. So that number's gonna be lower. And so when we talk about, treating businesses fairly and treating everyone fairly, this is available to anybody. Now, what the difference is in our county, because we're considered a Tier 1 county, and there's a 4-tier system, Tier 1 being the most prosperous counties, Tier 4 being the least prosperous counties. We're a Tier 1 county. They have to make a promise and sign an agreement to invest over $500,000 economically into the area where they are on any of these projects. And so as you can see, their promise to invest outweighs what it is that we may lose in sales and use. And as all of you know, our sales and use taxes are very small. Our county money, the money we get, the schools get, the majority of what we get comes from property taxes. And so this is a small gesture, like Ms. Cheng said, to incentivize people to build these projects and they've got to bring in so many employees. They've got to guarantee so many employees within a certain number of time, which moves people here, gets people here. People buy houses, people buy land, and so it actually is a huge benefit. So it's not really picking one business over another because it's available, but some businesses aren't large enough to guarantee the number of employees that are required in order to meet the qualifications for this. And so if you have a small company and it's a 1 or 2 person, well, it's not available to you because that's all set by the state. So just to answer some questions, that's kind of, I wanted you all to understand that it's only on the investment in what they're going to spend in expanding their facility or building their facility. And then as you can see, it's a relatively small number.
Thank you, Councilor Lester. I have Justice Lopez.
Thank you, Chair. And again, to reiterate, I agree with council. what we're looking at here, I think we anchored a lot when we heard that we were doing, like we were doing for Ozark Electric, but this is a different sort of program to induce investment. What we're looking at here is not a pilot program. It's not that we're handing them a tax abatement. It is more so for the purchases that they make within the county. We have agreed to like forego some sales tax, and they get that back to encourage them to make their investments and to make those purchases within Washington County. Insofar as, you know, they qualify, like they said, you know, some of the machinery that they're looking to purchase, it's not even made in Washington County, so that stuff isn't even going to qualify. I don't think that what we're looking at is handing anybody a huge break or anything like that. It is just inducing investment within the county, and moreover to you know, it's county owned. People within our county own this, and I think it is a material benefit to the county. And I'll be supporting it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I have Justice Lyons.
Chair. Actually, Counselor, you answered a number of my questions. I appreciate that. The numbers you were quoting, the 100 employees and the $500,000 investment, is that the numbers out? I read them. I just don't remember what they were. But those.
I believe so.
Okay.
I have to look it up.
Yeah, I don't remember. I just was curious. And the other point is if it is 100 employees, I think you guys had identified you're forecasting 77 new employees. And did I misunderstand? I'm just trying to make sure I understand, guys. I'm not trying to criticize.
No, that's 77 of the 100 we would expect to be residing in Washington County.
Like I said, I missed that part of it, so I appreciate the clarification. So you're looking at 100, or was it 100 or 100 or more? What was that total number?
The expansion would be 100 jobs.
And 77 coming from within, but you're expanding by 100.
Exactly.
Got it. Thank you. Appreciate the clarification. And then when we talk about the sales taxes is really it's invested what's here, because that's the only way we get sales taxes. If we're buying it in Washington County, we would get the sales tax.
Yeah.
So it'd have to be purchased here. So again, they're purchasing it from the Washington County area. The other thing I didn't understand is we talked about this. There was a question, I think my colleague JP Lemming brought up about how long was the tax break, and I think they said 34 years. So it's possible to get this sales tax break for 34 years, but in reality, their plan is to invest that over to 3 to 5 years. So that's really where they're going to be buying that equipment. They're going to be buying that new stuff, and that sales tax refund would apply for. Am I understanding that correctly?
3 to 4, 3 years,
3 years.
4 years.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, I was like, thank you. About the one. I think that's most of what I had now. Thank you.
Just for clarification, because I didn't have the numbers right in front of me. For a Tier 1 county, the business shall invest $5 million or more, let's see, under the statute, and have an annual payroll for new full-time permanent employees in excess of $2 million. I believe that's where we are. So you can see it's quite large. And they sign an agreement with the Arkansas Economic Development Commission that guarantees this, and if they don't hit that, then they could have to pay those taxes back.
Thank you, Counselor. I have Justice Pond.
Yes, I understand this very well. We've done this several times. What we're doing here is we're giving you incentive, your company, to expand here in this area, creating 100 jobs. 77 of those will be right here in this area. And you're going to be growing our revenue stream. You know, it's a win-win situation for us. I'll be voting for this to give you this tax break for the incentive. We want it to grow here. We don't need it to go someplace else. It's competition here. It's business. Thank you very much. I really appreciate what you're doing. Thank you for coming before us.
Next, I have Justice Dennis.
Madam Chair, I want to move that we pass resolution number 2025.
I have a motion and a second, but we're also going to have more discussion.
Okay?
All in favor of,
Motion second, you need to continue discussion.
but we'll continue discussion, okay. I have Justice Stafford.
Well, you kind of jumped ahead of me because what I was going to say is, yes, because packaging specialties is in my district. And I wanted to just say thank you all for being in South Fayetteville, and thank you for bringing additional jobs to South Fayetteville, where we definitely need them. And I'll definitely be supporting this.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I would like to withdraw my motion and allow my real Stafford to make her motion.
Okay. Motion withdrawn. If you'll cue your mic again. Is there any other discussion? Justice Lyons?
Just a quick question, Counselor, I think your insinuation, really the state manages that. The county doesn't manage that. It all goes up to the state, they manage it, they monitor, they track it to make sure all the criteria is met, and they go from that point of view. Is that a correct understanding?
Yeah, the Department of Financial Administration actually does all of this, and they pay their taxes in like they normally would. And I misspoke. I was looking at the wrong section. That was for much larger projects. It is 500,000, the investment here locally. You can apply for a state tax abatement, which you see a lot of times when the governor says we've got this, giant corporation coming in and they're going to build airplanes. They have to agree to that sort of thing. So, yes, but this is all, we have to agree to it. We have to send we give them our resolution, the city gives them their resolution, that's part of their packet that they send down, and then the DFNA actually administers all of this.
I have Justice Massengale.
Yeah, I just had a question. So we've got a motion to pass this, but that's actually, is that item 10 on the?
We don't have a motion anymore.
Okay.
We're not to that part.
We're not to item number 10 on new business. Thank you for bringing that to our attention. This is just a presentation. We'll be voting on this as we proceed through the agenda. All understood? Thank you very much for your presentation. Nice meeting you all.
Thank you very much.
Okay, next on the agenda is new business. No, I'm sorry, number 8. Our beloved Washington County Human Resource End of the Year presentation by Director Bennett.
I'll take a moment here and introduce Director Bennett. You guys have gotten to know her. You've seen her a lot through the budgetary process, but what I'd like to thank her for is she's come into this county and done a phenomenal job in her tenure so far as HR Director. I want to thank you, ladies and gentlemen, on the Horseshoe for some of the phenomenal things we've gotten to do for our workforce over the last couple of years, particularly our STEP plan. But Ms. Bennett wanted to take this opportunity to highlight some things from last year that we believe are successes and report to you guys on our HR department. So without further ado, Director Bennett.
I will say, before she gets to the microphone, that even today, talking to one of our elected officials, he just boasted on her professionalism, her knowledge, and the strides that she's made value-added product to Washington County. So thank you for all that you do.
Thank you. Gosh, what a wonderful introduction, and I greatly appreciate that so much. I enjoy being here and supporting our electeds and our employees. And
You want to bring the mic down closer?
Oh, I'm so sorry.
There you go.
Am I shouting at you? I wasn't trying to shout at you. I think we've had a really successful year. I think part of that, have an amazing team both at the courthouse and at the sheriff's office. We have a great partnership with them. Cassie has sat in all of the benefit planning that we have done over the year. And I'm just going to kind of recap some of the benefits that we've added. We added hearing, we added the HERO program, we added Sharks RX, which is sourcing. So just to give you some context of some examples, some of our employees are spending $200 a month on some of these prescriptions and potentially could go down to $11.77. That's real money back to our employees. That's a huge added benefit. We also added premium vision and, of course, the Arkansas Diamond Plan. We also added an HSA contribution for the first time. We set a goal to have 24 people included in the HSA program, and we exceeded that. We actually have 53. So that's a huge win for our employees, and we're really, really excited about it. I mentioned before that we greatly reduced the application process online. It was a tedious 20 to 30 minutes to fill out an application for a job, and now it's down to less than a minute. We continue to see an increase in how many people are applying for the jobs. I think part of that is the STEP plan that you all implemented before I got here. I'm a big fan of the STEP plan. I love the fairness. I love the consistency. And then I think the other aspect of getting an increase of applicants is the fact that they don't have to spend 20 or 30 minutes to apply for a job. So that's been pretty exciting. When I came in, one of the first things we started looking at is, of course, this process. I wanted to understand what processes we have, what contracts we're using. And so we did a complete review of our contracts, and we actually reduced our spend by $11,000 just this year. We made some process changes in terms of digital onboarding and some other things that were very manual, and saved the county approximately $12,000 worth changing those processes. I am very frugal. I think that's partly because of the company I came from. So we only spent about 74% of our budget, which means that we got to return $175,000 back to general fund. So I'm really proud of that because that was a lot of work on my team, really looking hard at some of our manual processes, some of our longstanding contracts that really do we need them and can we operate differently? So I'm really proud of what we've accomplished this year. One of those being we combined, instead of having an I-9 compliance company and a background company, the background company that we used actually has I-9 compliance in there. So as of September, we had already saved $5,456 by switching over and letting them do the entire process. So we reduced our travel spend by 100%. Everything I can either train my employees or we can do it online. And so we actually have kind of reinvested that. We're looking to get laptops. I'm very excited to have a laptop again. So that is our plan for next year. We instituted an employee recognition program. That is probably one of my favorite things that we have done. I'll talk a little bit more about that at the end. The digital onboarding process, I want to give a shout out to Myra Collins. She kind of took that process on, and I said, this is the vision, this is what I think we can do, and she took it and ran with it, and she did an amazing job. And so now, not only do we have digital onboarding, which is faster, and people don't have to come and sit with HR for 4 hours and watch videos from 1980. I'm not kidding, they were from 1980. But now it's all digital. They come in and they get to be with their team right out the gate. So it's really exciting to see how much we've impacted in just a year. Our focus for 2026, as you all know, I think I mentioned it in my last update, we did some feedback listening sessions, which I think were very valuable for our employees. We learned a lot about what is top of mind for them, because if it's top of mind for them, I want it to be top of mind for my team and I. So I think those are very valuable. We're going to do more of those this year. We are focused on training and development. I think that there's really a need for some manager one-on-one training and resources. As we identify talent that is ready to take on a team and leadership, we want to make sure that they have the training and resources to be able to jump in day one. And so we're looking at some digital resources to do that, and also some in-person training sessions, which I love to facilitate, and so that should be pretty fun. We are working on market data. I am teaching my team how to pull this data ourselves. If you go out and buy this data, you're looking $20,000, $30,000 easy. Our best examples of comparative data is actually other public service roles. If you go and get the market data, the problem is that if you compare a director HR role to a director HR role at Walmart, your numbers are going to be skewed. The role is very, very different. And a lot of our top companies that have decided to bring people back to Northwest Arkansas, when they didn't impact base pay. What that means is that the market data is skewed. So to get a real comparison, we are doing public service. All of that information is out there and it's free. And so it's just a matter of going and collecting it. So teaching my team how to do that, more to come on that. We are going to be very transparent about everything we collect. I think it's important for the employees to know what data we collect, so that will be out on the website as we're collecting it, and I'm really excited about that. We are moving forward with UKG. I am very excited about the progress that we have made there. That is going to be a great resource for our employees. We hope to start rolling that out in April more broadly. We're still in testing phases right now, but we're making great progress. So that's been really exciting. Shout out to Robert Voss for all of his help this year, by the way. He has been instrumental in some of our processes that were manual that we have moved to digital. So I just want to give him a shout out. So
Robert Voss in our IT department, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, sorry, yeah. I talk about him like everybody knows who he is. But probably my favorite thing that we've done this year is some very employee-centric things. We did a blessings tree, kind of like an angel tree. So we had multiple families that were blessed by that. We actually had way more people volunteer to adopt a child or family than we had people in need. But I think that just speaks to the heart of our employees. They're just phenomenal. We also, of course, did the very first, but hopefully annual Washington County Awards. We had 9 awards, and people were able to nominate their peers for these awards and then vote. And we had over 435 votes across the county, which I think is just phenomenal. All of our employees that won awards are up there, but I just want to give a shout out to all the electeds who participated and all the employees who nominated others. It's just really been a great year. So I think we've done a lot of things. We passed the handbook. There was a lot of good things that came out of the handbook. Thank you for your support on that. We've gotten a lot of really good feedback on it. So that's been pretty fantastic. So kind of a quick recap, but I just wanted to at least touch base with you all. I'd like to do this frequently now that Trent is done with his surgery and he is cleared to run and life is looking a little bit more normal, but I think it's just really important that you all kind of know what we're focused on, what we're doing to support the Washington County employees. And of course, anytime you have any questions, please reach out. My door is always open. Look forward to it. So that's all I have.
That is fantastic. I have a question from Justice Lemming.
How many employees do we currently have as of today?
Good question. I want to say close to 700.
Okay, I knew that number had changed a little bit.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. 400 and something participated in it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
It was really exciting to see. I will say, like, the moment when everybody came together, it was really exciting. So, yeah.
That's great. I have Justice Koger.
Thank you, Madam Chair. At the beginning of when you started speaking, you mentioned that you had like 53 employees for some program and you thought you were only going to have 25. What program was that? Because I didn't catch the initials.
Oh, I'm so sorry. HSA, the HSA contribution that we started this year.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
that's great. Okay.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
do have a question though, since you mentioned the step plan.
Yeah.
Last year, for some reason, the public defenders they weren't included in the step plan and we
Correct.
passed. Okay, but it was my understanding that we had in their budget for them to be, for the first of this year, we would make that up to them. Plus, they would still get their anniversary on the step plan. But that's not happening for some reason. Do you know about that?
I don't think that's, so let me kind of take a step back.
Okay.
So when they submitted their budget, we were under the impression like they weren't going to be added to the step plan. And so the guidance was, if you're going to ask for an increase, that's the space to do it, right? So when they submitted their budget before all of the quorum court meeting happened and we added them to the step plan officially, their plan was to give pretty significant increases. Like some of those were like 11 and 14%. Like they were pretty high. And so they were planning to do that in January, make them all effective in January. And then we all decided like they're going to be on the step plan. Well, the process has been across the county. When you go onto the step plan, it is whatever step and grade is closest to, or whatever step is closest to what you're currently making. And then you get your next step increase the pay period after your position anniversary date. That is how we have done it across the county the entire time. So we applied the same thing to them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't understand it.
Yeah, it's really confusing, and I think, we've tried to kind of explain that to the defender's office, and so I think I haven't talked to her since I sent the last email that kind of explained exactly what I just explained to you, and so I think she's on the page now, but I don't know. I haven't heard anything else, but.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
I have Justice Rios Stafford.
Thank you, Chair. I was a supporter of the STEP plan from the beginning. I've always supported that. I think it's a great idea. I also know that we've had some weird quirks with the system in some specific cases. Like I know, I'll give an example. Like I know in some cases there's been like folks who, to get them onto the STEP plan, they had to be like moved up significantly and ended up on step 1. And then because of the quirk of when their anniversary date is, like maybe at the end of the year, they've ended up training brand new people, even though they've been with the county for years, training brand new people who are on the same step. And,